I guess the first thing I wanted to ask you is, do you feel that you're performing now, in this moment?
No, I don't. I'm living my life. But, you know, I mean, of course, on the other hand, everybody's a performer, right? You know, I think Shakespeare said that the world is a stage and everybody's playing a part, right? I mean, this is an old idea, right? That in some way, you know, we're all acting. You perform love, you perform pain, you perform empathy. I mean, you know, like performance is it's a real thing. It's a real part of our lives. But I think what I'm really trying to do at this point, because now I'm so old, you know, I'm so much older, you know, it's really just in trying to figure out the best possible way to tell the truth about me and the world as I see it, through the way that I live my life and through the work that I make. And so I feel more and more and more as I go through life that the artifice that I construct for protection, for all kinds of reasons, begins to sort of slip away. You know, that I am coming face to face with me in the deepest possible way. And the best thing that I can do is to share that, to witness it, to deal with it, and then hopefully, when necessary, to share it with others.
I think the way that your works shape historical events, moments, imagery, it's shining a light as opposed to what could, I guess, be described as a lens, because for me, the difference between a lens and a light is a light shows something that we couldn't otherwise see, and a lens shows a different perspective of an event, right?
Wonderful. Uh-huh.
And I think with reflections and the way that for me, what you reflect back to me is a light on something I wasn't able to see before, or I didn't have the privilege of experiencing or seeing in that way before.
You can enter this work on 5 or 6 or 7 different layers, right, and levels, right? The role of text and how the text functions, how it undercuts, right? How you became, you this, I that, right? This, you know, this sort of, this sort of reoccurring notion of you as a text, as a framing device. The word is a framing device, as a kind of rhythm that would move you through the work, I think is really sort of very, very, very important. And it ruptures and it expands in this extraordinary way, right? And that's why I'm always saying that the work teaches me as much about myself as it does you, for instance, right? That I am learning through it every time I see it, which is when I know that a work is bigger than me and more important than me and beyond me, is because I continue to learn from it, right? That's when I know that I've hit the nail on the head, that I have succeeded in my project and, you know, and succeeded in keeping the promise that I've made to myself to do the absolute best I can do under the circumstances and in the situation. It's really sort of a very complex work. But taken together, if you sort of move across the entire installation, it's just this sort of constant layering, right? Everything is overlapping. Everything is connected, right? You know, so it doesn't really matter where you start, right? You know, you sort of end up in a curious way in the same psychic space, asking yourself a series of questions, hopefully, about your position in relationship to the life that you choose to live.
Right.
Which I think is really sort of interesting. You said that the work has actually influenced your practice.
Yeah, absolutely.
How has that happened?
I think through seeing Kitchen Table series and then other works, and it was the permission, I think, the permission to
that's interesting.
act in a certain way, to present in a certain way. It was the permission through example, I think. And that's what's been most influential to me, has been through your intake of the artists and the things that have influenced you in music and your own embodiment, the way that you've translated all of that and who you are, has allowed me through example to do the same for me. And I think there's also a translation of information through you that I can understand things that I haven't read or seen or experienced.
Thank you for that. And Toni Morrison said, freedom is the ability to take risk. Which I love. I just love this idea that it's the ability to take risk. And you have that freedom. And I'm very proud of the fact that that the work has been registered on such a profound level, not only by you and through you, but by thousands of others who've encountered this work.
What's so incredible about this show and about the breadth of your body of work is Kitchen Table was my introduction, but where I feel I've flourished and found space is amongst so many of the other works that I hear in the show. And
great. And
it's kind of my own frustration that the door is often blackness, but it's just a door to so many other topics, for so many other conversations, for so many other mediums, expressions, themes. What I want people to see is that the race is a door. It's part of me, but it's not all of me. It's not all I want to talk about. You have to go out and explore. And I think that's a freedom that yourself and my parents and in the history, it's giving the next generation more freedom, more space.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words and for your thoughtfulness. It really means a great deal. You know, you never know how work is going to impact somebody else. You just don't know. You're hoping that it will be meaningful, but you don't know exactly what that means until I encounter someone like you who is liberated in a way, who can now act differently because of the work. How powerful, how extraordinary is that? And I am one of the first women of my generation, in a way, through that door, in this particular way, in this particular way, through this lens and perspective and position of being an artist. So I have very deep bruises. You know, usually the first one through the door, you know, gets taken down, you know, they get beat up a lot, you know. So I've, but I've been able to stand the pressure, right? And I've been able to really understand what was happening at the moment that it was happening, and therefore to sort of safeguard myself. I am fearful, but I'm never afraid. I'm fearful, but I'm never afraid.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm coming in for a hug.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really
so
lovely to meet you, and thank you for your questions.
Thank you for, wow, yeah.
Thank you. It's
thank
great.
you.
Okay, peace.
Take care.
Good. And that's a wrap.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.